Hey there, welcome to LSAT Demon Daily. I'm Rachel Ryan. I'm a writer and admissions coach here with LSAT Demon. Joining me today is Tim Wilson, who is also a writer and admissions coach here with the Demon. And we are excited today to highlight the Admissions Ask button. If you don't know about the Admissions Ask button, when you are logged into the LSAT Demon platform and you are working on the admissions lessons that we have, you can hit the ask button in there, and those questions come straight to us, the admissions coaches, and we answer all of your admissions related questions. So we're going to take a couple of those today. Tim, welcome back. I'm excited to talk admissions with you.
Happy to be here. Happy to help.
Yeah. And before we start, I thought this tied in kind of nicely. I don't know if you remember, but when we recorded the last episode back in August, we were both about a week out from Foundations Week. Tim and I are both 1Ls, by the way. And
Yep.
we were talking about how we didn't think law school was going to be that difficult. We were pretty sure we had it in the bag. So we both just finished midterms. How are we feeling?
Brutal. Absolutely, absolutely brutal.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we got humbled real quick, I think. Law school
absolutely.
is a lot of things. It's great, it's challenging, it is way harder than I expected. I'm sure I imagine your experience has been similar.
Yeah, yeah. I was just speaking to through our coaching to someone applying this cycle and how they want to go right now. And I just through my experiences so far, you got to know what you're signing up for.
Hmm.
Especially for paying a lot for it. It's brutal. It's pretty hard. It's very rewarding, but just know that waiting a year, especially getting it cheaper, it's not that bad because it's going to stay as difficult as it is now as it is in the future.
Absolutely. Agreed. You want to pay as little as possible because it's going to be challenging. And having that mental strain, I guess, of the financials is going to add a lot of pressure to an already very high stress situation. So paying as little as possible is great. And I actually was thinking about, I've been really following the New York mayoral race,
Yep.
as a former New Yorker, and you're now living in New York. And I was thinking about how difficult a mayoral race must be. And you're working so hard and you're getting all of your funding and you're campaigning, and it's like you're working so hard because you want to do something that's 100 times harder, which is be mayor. And I
Yeah.
was like, that applies really nicely to law school admissions because you are working so hard. The LSAT is easy, but it feels hard
Mhm.
sometimes when you're preparing for it, right? And getting your undergraduate GPA can be difficult. Your personal statement can be tough to think about what topic you want to do, and you're thinking, this is so hard, applying to 20 schools. Oh my gosh. You are applying for the privilege of doing something that is going to be a lot harder than those applications.
Absolutely.
So I think it's just a good framing for our students to have.
Yeah, it really puts you into perspective. And I know if I was listening to this a year ago when I was applying, I would
Hmm.
think me and you are totally full of it. It can't be that bad, you know. I mean that's what we were
That was
saying.
us like 3 months ago. We thought it
Yeah. No, it could be that bad. It's pretty hard,
was.
but we're here for a purpose and it is really rewarding stuff, but just know that at least for me it took me being here to get that perspective of, wow, it really is that hard. Wow.
Yes. Yeah, it's not an exaggeration. You're learning a whole new language. You're learning how to write. You think you
Yeah.
know how to write, you don't. And we
No.
are learning that. We know nothing about anything, and we are basically just learning from scratch. And that is so rewarding in so many ways, but it is also really difficult. And that being said, I do want to shout out Abby and Amina, who are running our Crushing 1L podcast and the Crushing
Mhm.
1L platform in general that we offer, because if you can take that during your gap year while you're studying for the LSAT, you're going to be so much better off. I wish that I had done
Mhm.
it. Um, if we had had it available, I absolutely would have taken advantage of it. And I think it's a great way for people to get accustomed to a little bit of what law school is going to look like.
Oh, 100%. And like, I still use it while I'm in law school.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm reading a case I really don't understand or something foundational, I'll check out, Crushing 1L, and it really provides great insight, whether you're a 1L, 2L. I bet even 3Ls could use it. I mean, I don't know. I'm still just a 1L going through it, but it's awesome. I highly recommend it.
Yeah, it's really great. I've been listening to the podcast on my commute to school, especially when they talk about the job application process and things like that,
Hmm.
because we're navigating all of that for the first time. And, we've had jobs before, we have prior careers, I think both of us, and the job application process for the legal field is completely different in a lot of ways, and it's very
Yeah,
new. So, yeah, go check that out if you haven't. And with that being said, let's take some admissions ask button questions.
let's do
Our
it.
first question, and we get this question with some frequency, and I think it's a really important way to kind of hack your GPA here. So someone asked, can I dual enroll in community college to get some easy A's to raise my GPA? Tim, what do you think about that?
Absolutely, 100%. So prior to my undergrad education, I went to community college for a year and a half. Um, and through there, I took some easy classes, yeah, and I got a 4.0, and that really helped me, help my GPA a ton because I definitely did not do as well in my at undergrad. So that extra cushion from the community college classes is amazing, for your GPA. And LSAC doesn't differentiate an A in a community college class and an A at a regular undergrad institution. It's all the same. It's just an A is an A. So why not just work smarter and get it from a community college where more often than not, you're not going to have to work as hard. I think going to community college or just taking any community college class was the best thing I could do for my GPA. And I recommend that to everyone I talk to. So yeah, I'm a big fan of community college. Love it.
Yeah, I absolutely am as well. I similarly went to community college for about a semester and a half, a semester and a summer, I guess, um, before I started at my graduating institution. And I also had a 4.0 there. And I just took fun classes. I took a Greek mythology class where my final project and my entire grade was a fashion magazine cover of Aphrodite. So,
Sick. Awesome.
like it wasn't a hard class, is the point I'm making. It was a lot of fun. I learned about Greek mythology. It was cool. I got an A+ in it. And it doesn't have to be a hard class, exactly like you were saying. It can check off maybe one of your gen ed boxes, and you get to kind of interact with a lot of different walks of life, I think, in community college, which I think is a really great model for law school because law
Hmm.
school attracts people from all different scenarios of all different age groups. You'll have parents in your classes, you'll have people who are K through JD, you'll have people in their 50s. There's quite a range, and I think community college really encompasses that. So it's great for a lot of reasons. And the other great thing about community college is all of the online offerings that they have now. And one thing that we really recommend is finding an online community college and taking a class or two in the summer before you graduate. Maybe you take a couple classes after your junior year of summer, for example, if you know you're set on law school, and make sure that those classes offer A+s and that you get A+s because those can definitely boost your GPA
Yeah,
for sure.
100%. An A plus for your LSAC GPA, especially one at a community college. Like, I mean, that's just easy money. That's just
Yeah.
easy scholarship money right there.
Hmm.
And what you're saying before, the value of community college is unlike any other. I think I got the scholarship I got here because of my community college experience and how I use that in my personal statements and my essays. So if we have any community college people listening, you're in a good spot. You're in a good
Yeah.
spot. But people who are not, if you're not utilizing that, I would highly recommend doing what Rachel just said. Look up some online community colleges, especially ones that offer A pluses. I mean, you can really boost your GPA. And to another point, um, say you're not really good in a subject or you're not really proficient in it. Like me with math, I'm useless, right? I don't know what long division is, right? But like in community college, you could take a math class that could supplant your regular math requirement at your undergrad institution, and boom, you're most likely going to get a higher grade, or you're more likely to. And that's just gonna get rid of that math requirement or that harder class where you're gonna get a lower grade immediately, and super easily too. So yeah, community college, A plus, that's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I did the same. It was science for me. Um, and I took my labs at a community college, and I say labs in quotations because I believe the lab was being renovated that summer and we couldn't use it. So everything was like online lectures,
No.
and it was great because I got to avoid all of the dissection and all of that that I'm not a fan of. So you can be strategic about what classes you sign up for, what fulfills your GPA, I mean your gen ed requirements, and you can also just take classes that you find interesting and fun because, like Tim was saying, the GPA and the grades that you get are so much more important than the classes that you take. And that's
Yes,
something to consider even as you go through your regular undergraduate institution. If you are set on law school and you know you're going to law school, there's really not a reason to be taking that super high level math course, maybe that
not
you
one bit.
are like, nobody gets higher than a C, for example. So maybe skip that one because you
Yeah,
want to focus on your GPA more than anything else if you're set on law school.
100%. Yeah. Like they're not gonna look at the hardness of your classes. I really don't think they look at it at all, in my opinion, but I'm not an admissions officer, so I don't know 100%. But I think they would only potentially see how hard the classes you took were if they had an exact same candidate that they like same LSAT, same GPA. The essays were deemed the same, which isn't going
Hmm.
to happen. Just in 1% of circumstances, they're going to look at that. And at that point, it's not worth it, if it's going to cause you to get a C, you know.
Yeah.
So, yeah, 100%.
Right. Be more focused on beating that other candidate out with a higher GPA than worrying about that as much. I agree. I think it's a soft factor.
Exactly.
It's maybe going to be considered, but your GPA overall is going to be considered much more highly.
Yeah.
All right. So our next question from the admissions ask button is also related to GPA. Someone asked us, I took AP courses in high school that are lowering my undergraduate LSAC GPA. What can I do? And this is kind of similarly to the community college grades. Those don't show up on your graduating transcript. They usually just show as pass and they don't actually factor into your GPA. And then when you get to your LSAC GPA, they do factor in, and that can surprise people, hopefully in a good way, obviously sometimes in a bad way. And those AP courses that you took for college credit will also show up there, and they can have a negative impact on your GPA for LSAC if you didn't do as well in those classes. And so we don't think it's the end of the world. Classes you took in high school don't necessarily reflect the student that you are now, the student that you're going to be in law school. And we think that there is a world, and we've had students do this successfully, where you can go to your registrar and explain your situation to them very nicely. You just very humbly go and say, hey, um, my goal is law school. This AP art history class that I took AP art history in high school, so that's just at top of mind, is lowering my GPA. Can we change it to a pass instead of a letter grade? And you might get a no the first time. And we, as future attorneys, don't take the first no as an answer. So you ask the next person and the next person, and you very nicely and very humbly explain your case to each one. And a lot of our students have had some success there, right? I think you've had a few that have told you that as well.
Yeah,
Hmm.
absolutely. Absolutely. And like, yeah, maybe a couple teachers will say no, but it takes one to have an
Hmm.
effect. Getting rid of one, say, D or C on your transcript that's affecting your LSAC GPA, that's huge. That especially if you're getting better grades in college, 100%. So, as future lawyers, as future advocates, I think you're doing yourself a disservice to the profession you want to be in, which is being a professional arguer and professional annoying person, like to not go and bug them for,
hmm
to do that, or at least ask them, but yeah, it's a great, my family always says you have a mouth on your head for a reason. And, and it's exactly that. So go and ask them. Yeah, you'll get a couple no's, but just takes one to get an effect. Takes one yes to get an effect.
Yeah, absolutely. And what about if you have good grades? Is it worth
Yeah,
doing anything with
yeah.
those?
So at UVA, that's where I went for undergrad. A pluses were pretty rare, but they did happen. But it was very dependent on the professor. Some professors just didn't in general, even if you got 100%. Some of them had a certain threshold, like if you got a 95 or above, you get an A plus. It's really dependent, right? And once I found that out, I went to professors, I got in contact with professors a year after I graduated and said, "Hey, I'm pretty sure I got above a 95. I know that's not your policy, but I outlined the reasons why that would really help my LSAC GPA to them and asked them if they can move my A to an A plus. And while most of them did say no, I got one or two yeses, I believe, and
Hmm
that increased my LSAC GPA by I think like 0.04 points, which doesn't sound like a lot, but that's moving you from say a 3.86 to a 3.9,
Yeah.
and that's moving you from a school's 25th percentile to above the median, which is huge. So yeah, even if you have great grades, go and ask them for even greater grades. I mean, there's
hmm
no downside. What are like the worst that's going to happen is they're going to say, "No, go away." Okay. I'm on to
Yeah.
the next person. I'm on to the next professor. So, yeah, absolutely. Do that.
Yeah, I love that. And I love the statement that you had from your family about having a mouth in your head for a reason. I'm sure that impacted some of your decisions to go into the legal field.
Yeah.
My mom always says the worst that anyone can tell you is no, and I think that has impacted my interest in the law as well. So both of those things are true. You have the ability to speak up for yourself, and no one's going to say, no, you're not going to law school now. I'm telling them to cancel your transcript. They're just going to say, no, I can't do that for you. Sorry. And it's fine. It doesn't
That's
affect your
it.
relationship with that person. They won't see you in a negative light. And it's totally possible that they actually really respect what you're doing, but for policy reasons, they just physically can't change your grade. And so it's no harm done if they say no. And that's awesome that you were able to get some professors to say yes.
Yeah, yeah. I was, and I don't even think it was lucky. I mean, these professors, most of them, I would say, are going in there because they want to help their students. And
hmm
if they don't have an exact stringent policy on that, I don't see why they wouldn't, unless, they just aren't the nicest person. But, yeah, I mean, we're going to a field where all we do is argue and advocate what we believe in. So, I mean, if you're not really comfortable enough to ask a professor for, a little bump in your grade, I mean, what are we doing here? You know?
Right. Yeah.
So absolutely go do that. Go bug your professors. Absolutely.
Yeah. Bug your professors. That's the tagline. No. Um, very nicely ask them questions. That's
Very nicely, of course.
Great. So, if you have more questions for us, if you found this helpful, you can go ahead and hit that ask button when you're in the admissions module. Tim or Leslie or I, Leslie is our fearless leader and the head of our admissions work here at LSAT Demon. We are happy to answer all of your questions there. And, no question is too small or too specific. We have probably heard it before and are very excited to help you out. For our live subscribers, as we mentioned at the top of the episode, Tim and I recently became live coaches with the admissions team. So you can book your complimentary live session with one of us, and we will be happy to have that one-on-one meeting with you. Again, Leslie was already doing that. We have come in to help her and support her because the demand is ramping up as the admissions process gets more and more competitive. So you can find us on those platforms. And anything else that you want to add, Tim?
Nope. I just want to say good luck to everybody. You guys will all kill it. And yeah, you guys got it.
Yeah, awesome. All right. So email daily at LSAT Demon Daily if you'd like to ask us any other questions or if you just want to share some LSAT or law school admissions news with us. Thanks for listening.